Hey guys, Cubehamster here with a new video. In this video I want to do a layer by layer tutorial of the 11x11x11 dice. I made some improvements to it. Minecraft PG5 recently released a little circuit where a lever acts like a button, and I'm pretty sure that other people have used it before, but I've actually never seen it before. And at first I was under the impression like, what the hell, what's the point of this? But turns out it's actually quite useful, especially with these mob randomizers. Now, as you can see, every time the dogs either walk on top of the pressure plate or they walk off the pressure plate, so it's a dual edge detector, it sends a signal. And that causes the dice to stop a lot faster than it did before. So let me just give a brief demonstration on that. So now we spin it, and it could stop in like 2 turns or I mean like 2 changes. It's still pretty random. Occasionally it does take long, but generally speaking it's more than twice as fast as my previous dice when it stops. So that one actually took a bit long, in my opinion. Let's see if we can get one stop faster. There we go, stopped. One more test. I've tested it, yeah, that was a quick one. I've tested it quite thoroughly and it is still very random, but also very compact. So change that. The other thing I changed is, I mean, I have the button at the front now, but I mean, I can guess that some people, if you want to make this, you would prefer the button to be on the front. I mean, that's one possibility. But it could also be possible that you want to put it on the back. So I actually wired it up both in the system. So I have a signal coming from the back that activates it, and I've got a signal coming from the front. And yeah, both works just fine. So with all that being said, let's continue to the tutorial. It's going to be a bit different style than I usually do. Just going to show pictures layer by layer on how to build it on a dark background, or at least that's the idea. So let's get to it. So we are doing this layer by layer, and like I already said, the dimensions of the dice are 11x11x11. So the way I'm looking at it now is this is where the display is going to be. So now directly facing the display. I've got a sticky piston here, it's extended because of this torch. But yeah, this is layer 1. It's going to get a lot more complicated though. So to be able to see all the repeaters and stuff in detail, I recommend you guys switch to the high definition resolution on this video. Here we have layer 2. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of repeaters which we placed on top of layer 1. They are all at 1 tick, except for the one in the back leading into the sticky piston facing up. And as you can see, the other sticky piston that was extended before is now retracted due to this torch being here and redstone being powered. What you should do, you should place a block on the retracted sticky piston. Now about the inputs, this is, like I said, this is going to be the front of the display. You could place a button here to activate the mechanism, or actually also have a button in the back here which you could just send a signal into to activate the same system. So that's layer 2. Now, as you guys have already imagined, this thing gets quite complicated, and to try and be able to show you guys what's happening in each layer without stuff mixing up in a way, I now changed the bottom layer to wooden planks. So the first layer, whatever the hell happened there, I'm just showing you like as a reference point that that's the last like the first layer we done. But what I'm going to do, I'm only going to show 2 layers at a time to not overcomplicate things. So just as a reference, that sticky piston we just placed the block on, that was below here. Now about all the repeaters that are placed on this layer, they are all, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them are at 1 tick, and on the one leading into this sticky piston, this is a sticky piston with a solid block, that one's 2 ticks. This creates a 1 tick pulse. And as you can see, we are already placing the first layer of our redstone lamp display. So just one more thing. This block, I'm using the OCD pack. This block is glowstone, and every time I use glowstone, it has to be glowstone, else the machine is not going to work. So please keep that in mind when building this thing. Layer 4. Again, I've replaced the 2 layers before this one to wooden planks to not get a very big blob of stuff. So I'm only showing this layer and the previous layer. Now on this layer we add a total of 5 repeaters, all at 1 tick. These are repeaters needed to power the redstone display. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have a repeater at the back that's to read the binary numbers for each display, each displayed symbol. We are also adding a total of 5 pistons. They are all non-sticky, and all this birchwood and glass is the first feed tape for the bottom 2 lamps. Make sure you place them exactly the way I have, and you need those little gaps there to keep it spinning properly. And again, all the glowstone in this layer is absolutely 100% needed, so make sure you all have that. Layer number 5. Now I have to say something very important before you guys might get confused. Some of my redstone stuff is getting activated, whilst yours might not get activated. The reason for this is because I am replacing the layers below with wooden planks. So this torch down here, the one that's activated, should actually be turned off, but seeing as there's nothing beneath it, it's now turned on. So please pay no attention to any of my redstone being activated whilst yours is not. On this layer we add a whole bunch of repeaters. We have 2 repeaters on 2 tick delays here. We have a repeater on 2 ticks delay here that leads into the piston for that feed tape. We have another 2 tick delay repeater over here that leads into this other piston here for the feed tape, and a 4 tick delay repeater coming from this circuit, and this circuit is going to be a signal indicating that the dice are done rolling. Now what I can also say, this is actually the second feed tape we're currently working on, and that's the feed tape for the binary output of the dice, because the dice has binary outputs for every dice roll. And as you can see, there's a gap there. Normally there would be a sticky piston below which is pushing it up, so make sure you have the gap there the way it is. And this glass here is needed to start and stop the infinite loop we're going to create here when activating the system. So again, this glass may seem weird seeing as it comes from the repeater, but as soon as you activate the system, this block gets pushed up, allowing a permanent system loop over here. So that's layer 5. I hope this shows enough about that so we can move on. And here is layer number 6. We are now officially halfway. As you can see, this layer has another feed tape. This is the feed tape needed for this middle redstone light on the dice, which gets activated when there's a 3, a 5 or a 1. It's activated now because there's a solid block in the feed tape. Interesting fact, this feed tape spins clockwise, while the feed tape we had below that actually spinned counterclockwise. So it's somewhat interesting. We're also here again working on the feed tape for the binary output, and we also have more circuits needed for the signal when the dice stops rolling. So that's all gets added, and this loop is now actually done, the one for the input mechanism. Going through the 3 repeaters there that are added here, they are all actually on a 1 tick delay, so should not be any problems with that. And again, all pistons you see in this frame, so to say, are all non-sticky. So let's continue. Layer number 7. Here we add another feed tape. This feed tape is for the number 6 only. So what it does is once it's activated, activates this redstone light, this redstone light and this redstone light, which is gonna indicate 6. Seeing as we are also displaying a 4 basically at the same time. With that being said, the again non-sticky pistons for the feed tape. The repeaters that we added are on 1 tick delay on the yellow circuit. There is a 2 tick delay on this side going into the non-sticky piston, and on the back there is a total of 3 full delay repeaters on the circuit that's going to indicate that the dice has stopped rolling. And besides that, we have some redstone and some torches and stuff. So again, I hope this helps, and so we can continue with layer number 8. So here's layer number 8, and this layer we add the last feed tape for the display. This feed tape is for the upper 2 corner lights. It will activate whenever there's a 3 or a 2 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6. Actually, the only time it doesn't display anything is when there's a 1. We also add a bunch of repeaters. They are all on 1 tick delay. They just go straight from the feed tape into the display. All the pistons you see in this frame are all non-sticky, and as you can see, we also complete the binary tape for the back circuit for the output whenever a dice stops rolling. So that's layer number 8. Again, emphasizing glowstone wherever I place glowstone. Layer number 9. We are now adding the foundation for the mob randomizers at the top of the dice. We also have some downward facing pistons. The one on the left is non-sticky, which is needed to complete the binary tape at the back, and this one is actually sticky. It functions as a let's get it back. Functions as a transistor whenever whenever the dice is done rolling. So sticky phasing down. Now for the repeaters we placed on this layer, we placed 2 repeaters, one at 2 ticks and another one at 2 ticks. So lots of blocks, not a lot of redstone, but yeah, we're getting there. Just 2 more layers to go. Layer number 10, one layer after this. On this layer we introduced the stone pads for the mob randomizer or the wolf randomizer. The way it works is wolves walk on and off pressure plate, which will then in turn send a pulse, so it's a dual edge detector. We also add a whole bunch of 1 tick delay repeaters. The ones coming from the stone pads are all 1 tick. Then we have a 2 tick delay leading from the black circuit into the wall here, which will power the redstone dust below. Make sure this is a 2 tick delay. We also have a 2 tick delay coming into this empty block patch, and then a couple of more 1 tick delay repeaters. I already want to show a bit of the next layer when I continue with this, else this might be confusing. But the way what's going to happen is, oh, let's fix that for a moment. What's going to happen is we are going to place a sticky piston facing down, and then on the green blocks we just had there a moment ago, we will place a torch. And whenever there's a block here, this will then, whenever there's a block here, so whenever I activate the system, the whole birch bark column below here gets pushed up, which retracts the transistor, allowing a reset signal coming from the wolves to push it back down and then stop the transistor once again. So it's just a little clever transistor circuit that we have going on here at layer 11 actually, but I'm already showing it just to make things more clear. And here's layer number 11. As you can see, I've already added some doggies to the mob randomizer. Now whenever they either step on the pressure plate or walk off the pressure plate, it's going to give a signal. But we have a little safety system, which is the green circuit with 2 transistors. This is the one we already placed earlier. This is the transistor that prevents this piston from pushing down whenever you press the button, so there's no way it can screw up. And the sticky piston in the back here is a transistor that prevents a signal going down to indicate that the system is done spinning, that the dice is done spinning. Now if all that is done, you should have ended up with a dice like this one, where when you press the button it will spin and stop at some random point in time. Now I'm using wolves, but I can imagine that doing this legit in your world, getting wolves in there is hard. I guess you could also use chickens or sheep or pigs. It's all fine, but it is in fact the way it is now. The dice is in fact 5 to 6 times faster than my previous dice, so that is pretty sweet. Now what I would find cool is if any of you guys are going to build this legit in your survival world, could you perhaps consider making a video of it and sending it in as a video response? I would personally find that extremely awesome if any of you guys would do that. Just one thing I have to explain, I guess. That's when we go to the back, and that's something I just recently found out, but actually missing a block and repeater here, and I was sort of lazy in a way to redo my entire tutorial. Sort of on a time pressure as it is right now. But what you get is you have the input. This is where I send an input system. You get a button there. So this activates the system. Now the white circuit is the binary output, and each dice roll has a unique binary code. It doesn't match with like the binary the way it is, so 6 is not 110. I can guarantee you that. If we go to the other side now, it's something else. What do you know? The 6 is actually correct. But the other ones aren't, so you will have to decode this into the right binary numbers. Shouldn't be too hard. Just add a bunch of inverters and stuff, and yeah, problem solved. And then we have the black system circuit here, and whenever the dice is done spinning, it's gonna extend this sticky piston for a short time. Let's see, come on doggies. Occasionally it can take a bit longer, but it extends it, and then it sends a pulse, which you can use to read the outputs. And the outputs vary from 001 to 110. So 111 doesn't exist, and 000 also doesn't exist. So it makes it easy to use that knowledge and to be able to read from the binary. So it's pretty cool. yeah, that's pretty much the whole tutorial. I'll be adding a world file in the description of this video. It will contain the dice, so you could make a schematic of that and use it. And I will also post a dissected version of this dice, so I'm going to stack all the layers in a big column on top of each other, so you can just go in, check out yeah, what the hell is going on if you can't see something from the video. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. See you guys later.